It's Tomb Raider week, sort of. The Lara Croft collection just released on the Switch a few days ago, so it's time to go back to the Steam Deck and finish up the Survivor trilogy. We did 2013 quite some time ago, covered Rise in April, so let's take a look at how the Steam Deck can run Shadow of the Tomb Raider. For a brief summary, Shadow is the third of the Survivor trilogy, picking up a bit after the events of Rise, where Lara accidentally triggers the Mayan apocalypse. She has to travel to find the artifacts necessary to stop the world from being subjected to an eternal solar eclipse. That's right, Lara taking a dagger from a temple is going to disrupt the moon's orbit and keep it in one spot between the Earth and Sun forever. This game's also a bit special in its costume usage. Shadow allowed you to completely ditch the new babyface Lara they converted her into with Rise and replace her with the 2013 game's model, or even further back with a few models from Angel of Darkness and Tomb Raider 2, including the iconic bomber jacket. But the game's ridiculous logic aside, how does it play? Previous handhelds from DPD have struggled with it, but the Steam Deck does pretty alright. As far as settings go, you can do a few different things depending on what your target is, but you are going to want to aim for medium or low, generally speaking. As far as the testing went, I used two major areas. The crowded town at the beginning of the game is really good to test performance, and the jungle in the second major location also stresses the game pretty hard. With the initial town segment, everything is good. None of the settings will keep it locked 60 FPS, but even high settings will generally keep it above 30. More specifically, high settings has it jump around in the 40s, with the lowest drop I saw be at 43. Medium had the same lowest point of 43 FPS, but averaged more in the low 50s, dipping into the 40s less often than high did. Then we get down to low and lowest, where we get lows of 49 and 47 FPS respectively. Again, none of these settings get a stable 60 FPS, but it's also true that none of them drop under 30. Theoretically, you could lock the FPS down to 30 on high settings here and never have any problems. But later areas change that. The hanging platform puzzles in the Mexico Temple will drop high settings down to 27 FPS and medium to 34. The jungle areas later in the game will also drop you into the 20s pretty often on high settings, basically meaning that if you want it to be smooth, you're gonna have to go medium or lower. Now technically, I did have a couple split-second situations on medium where it dropped into the high 20s briefly and went back up. It mostly stays above 40 and dips into the 30s every so often. Though if you really want to be close to 60, you can use lower or lowest, but that depends on if all of those extra jaggies are worth it. And that's it for performance, so what about battery life? You won't get that much, but I didn't expect to, considering this is still a relatively recent game. Shadow of the Tomb Raider will give the Steam Deck around 2 to 3 hours depending on brightness level. So, as we bring all this together, would I recommend Shadow of the Tomb Raider to Steam Deck users? Despite the lack of a stable 60 FPS and occasional 20s on high and even medium, I still would. Running the game on low might not look as graphically impressive as a PlayStation or Xbox, but it can play well with the right settings and is leagues ahead of the previous GPD handheld PCs I've attempted this game on. And that's all for today. I'll be back soon with more Steam Deck performance and reviews. As always, thank you for watching and have a great day.